Suzie here with an update. It is technically December 3rd, but I'm going to count it as the second just because I haven't slept yet. I actually just got off out of a long conversation with an old friend that I went to school with. She's seeking advice because she's actually on the other side of the family court as a foster mom. So she's wondering about contacting the birth family. Very interesting. I'm not going to get into any details of that case, but I will say that my fight against CPS and the family court, I know there are families that do need the intervention. There are children that do need to be removed and placed with families that actually care. The issue is with the court itself. Social workers, the court-appointed attorneys, and the judges, and higher-ups even. Who knows how far it goes? The corruption. I mean, have you seen what's in the White House? Now I'm forgetting everything as it tends to happen. Right, so update. Of course, there's going to be more because there's so much to it, and I'm sorry if there's definitely going to be repetition of things said because all of it goes together. It's a whole big, there's so much. There are things that are definitely going to need repeating so that other things are understandable. But for right now, I want to give an update. So, November 4th, almost exactly 1 month ago, I had a hearing where the judge terminated my parental rights to my middle 4 kids, Kane, Winnie, Kanai, and Keikoa. My attorney had me testify where he asked me questions about our visits and my bond with my kids, and I explained that our visits are great. I see them every weekend, or most weekends, not so much when they go off with their paternal grandfather. But our visits are awesome. We do so many things together. And then it comes to having to say goodbye. And Keikoa, my 5-year-old, is always sad. Well, the others are too, but especially Keikoa. And before this, my attorney had even asked, he specified that Keikoa was when my kids were taken from me, it was 1 month before he turned 2. He's 5 now. So the majority of his life, he's been without me. And so I explained that every time we have to say goodbye. I didn't want to cry. He is sad. He asks if I can stay with them or if he can come home with me. My kids want to come home. Kane, my 11-year-old, was there at the court that day. I asked my court-appointed attorney to have him testify because the judge needs to hear it from him. He wants to come home. He does not want to be adopted, as the reports have said that he does. No, he doesn't. He has only said that he is open for adoption because he's being told that that is the only option. But he doesn't. He's only tolerating his placement with my mother because it is the closest to being with me. He doesn't want to be there. I'm not going to get into why. But he wants to be with me. They all do. And I explained that I go to their sporting events, their school events. The only times I've missed them is because I was having my own classes. I was attending the local community college. And I was even invited by the school principal to attend parent-teacher conferences. And I was complimented not only by their teachers, but other faculty, including the principal, for their positive progress and personalities. My kids are good kids, and it's not by accident. There's 7 of them. Really smart, well-behaved for the most part kids. They all excel in math. Just one of their good subjects, because math was one of my bad subjects, next to science. And even though I didn't really care for history or English, I'm a nerd, what can I say? I like learning because, I mean, I've been attending the community college intermittently since Charlie, my oldest, was born. She's 15 now. Child development and psychology is what I study, and math. Well, if we want to get technical, I try to study all subjects, but majoring in child development and psychology and sociology. Anyway, parent-teacher conferences. I didn't ask to be there. I wanted to talk with the principal about my involvement in the school PTA, because before my kids were taken, I was very involved as much as I could with PTA, going to meetings and everything like that, going to school events. and she invited me to parent-teacher conferences. I didn't even know they were happening, and she invited me the very next day. Heck yeah, I want to go. The teachers were more than happy to print out my own copies of all the reports. And they complimented me on my kids. It's funny because Keikoa's teacher, he's in kindergarten. She was also Kanai's kindergarten teacher, as well as Winnie's kindergarten teacher. Winnie's 9 now, in 4th grade. She's had 3 of my kids, and she loves them all. Winnie, she was Winnie's teacher before my kids were taken from me. And she would have been her 1st grade teacher if she hadn't been taken from me. But yeah, so I told the court about our visits, my involvement, parent-teacher conferences, Keikoa's reactions when we had to say goodbye. The one and only question that the county council asked was whether I had unsupervised visits. No, I never had unsupervised visits. And the only reason they asked that is because they knew darn well that the judge would hold this against me. And that is why they kept me from unsupervised visits on purpose, for this exact reason. I have an email over here. From the supervising social service practitioner, the boss at the CFS office. Because they lessened my visits. Before, this was with the baby, okay? Kealohi, back in September of last year. I was getting 2 visits, 2 hours, twice a week. I was getting visits with my baby. I was just told that my visits with Kealohi have been lessened to once a month. Is this correct? 2 hours, twice a week, to once a month. Yes, this is correct. Once a month for 2 hours. Why is that? This is to aid in the transition to a permanent placement. Now, my baby was taken only because I failed to reunify with the older 6. I still have a chance to get the older 6 back. And they've already terminated my rights to him. That also, on that note, talking with my friend who is a foster mom, I mean, I was already planning on writing an open letter to the foster family who has my son. But talking with a friend, I'm definitely going to now. Especially since when I was appealing that termination, the appellate attorney, told me that it's the foster mom's choice to have contact with me. She should be allowing me to visit my son. I haven't seen him since March, right before his 1st birthday. But yeah, I will be writing an open letter to them. What was I talking about before? This is to aid in the transition to a permanent placement. Right there. She's admitting that their one and only plan is to adopt my child away from me. Cutting off my visits to aid in the transition to a permanent placement. And the one and only question that the county council asked was whether I had unsupervised visits. Of course I didn't. Of course I didn't. They never planned to give me my kids back. Because that was the one and only question that they asked in that hearing, the termination for the baby. That was the one and only question. Right here, she says in this email regarding the baby, this is to aid in the transition to a permanent placement. Going for 2 hours a week. No, 2 hours twice a week. That's 4 hours. To 2 hours a month. Mrs. Supervising Social Service Practitioner. I'm sure you know that going from 2 visits a week to just 1 a month is far too abrupt for a child, especially an infant, who has formed a very close attachment with the parent from which he is being separated. Excuse me. I then go on to ask if maybe I could have a visit with him and his siblings. Because I hadn't had a chance to have all 7 of them together. Once we did have a visit with all of them planned. Charlie couldn't be there because she was at a talent show, and I'm not at all upset with her. I'm actually very proud of her. I will post that video down below, her performance from that talent show, if you'd like to see that. She was only allowed 2 minutes. She did freaking amazing. I wish I could have been there. The applause at the end is cut off, but oh my gosh. I'm so proud of her. It's bittersweet. In more ways than one. Because that was my only chance to have all 7. But she was. And her performance, the song that she sang, is so very relevant. Ms. Torres, I do understand your concerns. However, this is now a court order. You can petition the court to have it changed. If you need more information about this process, please contact your attorney. This is now a court order. She's said that before, and I've confronted her every time with the fact that the court orders, based on her recommendations in the reports, that are lies. Full of lies, each and every single report. All of them. Full of lies. And I have not once been able to dispute any of it. Please contact your attorney, because she knows damn well that these court-appointed attorneys are not working for me. Nope. Anytime I ask to make any changes, file petitions, file my own evidence, no, we can't do that. No. I'm not going to do that. Like, I've tried to do it myself, okay? I've tried, but I'm not allowed to without my attorney's permission, approval. I've tried. The very first day I met the current one, okay, this is my third. The first one, so many examples of sabotage I could give you with this one. When I presented my objections to the reports to her, she decided she wasn't going to be my attorney anymore. About 2 weeks later, with the second one, I email him a copy of my objections. Next Monday, my mom and I drive out there because this court is about 3 hours away. Okay. We drive out there and nothing happens because the court-appointed attorney has decided not to misrepresent me. 2 weeks he was my attorney. About that, I'm not sure. Very first day I met the third one, I have objections. And what does he say? The judge doesn't care that the social workers are lying, so I'm not going to file these objections for you. There's no use. Not going to bother. Or he'd tell me now's not the time, we'll do that later. But it was never the time. I asked him to have Kane and my mom testify. There's no telling what they would say. The truth? What else was I wanting to address? Sorry, it's gross. Peeling my chapped lips. What else was there? I do have my GoFundMe back. I had to email them and explain that it had gone inactive because I didn't use it for so long. I made this back when this all first happened. There's a few updates on there from the very day I met this third attorney. That's right. I updated it that very day explaining this. I explained to them that even though explaining that it went inactive because I don't like asking people for money. I don't. But the cause is still very relevant and the need for funds is still very needed. I need to be able to hire a real private attorney. Otherwise, I have no chance. And that's what the court is hoping for. I will link it down below. Back when I made it, I had made a form on my blog. I don't like asking people for money. I'll pay you back. I've said that from the very beginning. This form is for that. You fill it out, tell me how much you're willing to help with acquiring this attorney, and I will pay you back. It may be a while because any money I receive up until my kids come home are going toward my fight to get them home. So it will have to wait until after that. But any and all help is very much appreciated by me and my kids. They want to be with me. This court needs to be stopped. Even if you can't help me financially, just by sharing this video and making other people aware of what is going on. 2 minutes at the max it would take to share. Click like 2 buttons. People need to know what is happening. Families are being torn apart. These social workers are allowed to lie. There will be more of this, videos, blog posts, information shared about my story. I'm pretty much an open book about most of it. Some of it, of course, discretion and privacy of my family, but most of it, just ask. Even on my stream, I stream on Twitch in case you weren't aware. Live gameplay, though sometimes I do other things like cooking. I did a cooking stream the morning of Thanksgiving. I made French toast, cookies, and pineapple stuffing. I do plan on doing more cooking. I've done craft videos. I made a pillow. I draw on occasion. Mostly video games. Today I was more just chatting, doing coding on the blog thing, and learning some Japanese. But if you would be even more comfortable helping me out financially through my stream, that is a thing. Or I sell Avon. We do sell more than perfume and makeup. I've purchased several colognes myself that I've given my son now since his father doesn't need them. There's products for home and kids. There's a lot. I will link. Not only will I link the shop, but I will link you directly to the e-brochure, the current brochure, the last campaign before Christmas. I'm sure you can find things that would make awesome gifts for others, if not yourself. Damsel in Defense. I'm a Damsel Pro. That is self-defense products, personal protection, stun guns, pepper sprays, personal alarms, striking tools, education for families, digital protection. There's a lot. Vehicle tools, equipment. I will link that. My Twitch, if you'd like to come by, get to know me and my story more. I do talk about it because, as I said, I'm an open book. It is what is happening in my life. I'm going to talk about it. People need to know what is happening. Because it's not just my family, it's happening across the country. The friend I was talking to lives in Texas. And while things are very different between states, a lot of it's the same. The corruption is very much the same. But is there something else? I am updating the blog a lot more often now. That's where the open letter to the foster family will be, and more information about my case and how everything, most things, because again, discretion and privacy for my family. Dang it, I had something. There will be more vlogs, updates, more posts on the thing, blog. I do stream daily because it's therapeutic for me. 8 to 12 PM PST every day is my schedule. I'm on social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow along. But yeah, bear with me because as you can see, there's a lot to all of this, and it is a very sensitive subject, but it needs to be said. People need to know. That's it for tonight. Figure out something tomorrow. Yeah, I'll link all the things down below if you are interested. Please, 2 minutes to share. Thank you if you've been watching the song. I really appreciate it. But yeah. Thank you for watching. Bye.